Village Idiots podcast. We are streaming live to you from Village Lodge 29, Canton, Connecticut. This is Tim. I'm Eric. And we're getting ready to roll. It's week 2, baby.
Week two.
How did your week 1 go, Tim?
Not so great. Not so great.
It was touch and go, though. It really was.
I didn't lose by a lot, but I lost.
Yeah.
And that stunk.
Yeah, but it's only week 1, though. It's only week 1.
That's true. It is only week 1, which is good.
You can't win your championship in week 1.
No, and, as we talk about today and the week and things that went on, I mean, I didn't get beat down by Justin, but I had some underperforming players. Let's put it that way.
A lot of quarterbacks underperformed last week. Like a lot of them only threw for 150, 180 yards. Except for what? I think Tua. Tua was the only one that broke 3 bills.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Tua in a little bit.
When we get to week 2, let's get through week 1 first.
But,
oh my God.
There weren't any big blowouts.
No.
I mean, Chris beat up on Joe a little bit.
Well, that was touch and go, too.
But everything else was pretty close.
Well, I did beat up on Rithia pretty freaking bad. We're talking 70 points.
Yeah, you beat up on him pretty good, but everybody else was pretty straightforward. Yeah. Like, and what killed? If we just looking at Rithia here, like what really killed him? I mean, Love did what Love was supposed to do. Breece Hall did what he was supposed to do.
Jonathan Taylor,
but not by a lot. No. I mean,
Ayuk underperformed big.
Ayuk underperformed big time. That was a problem for me too. Pittman underperformed big time. George Kittle.
I'm surprised Pittman underperformed because that was a tight game between Houston and Indianapolis, and Richardson threw the ball a bunch.
It was, but dude, like Cooper Kupp just decided he was going to be like an all-star. So, 32 points on a 15 projected. That's
3rd round, baby. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shout out Cooper Kupp.
So, a lot of good matchups, but yeah, I mean, some underperforming stuff here in your matchup. I think like Rob just blew 163 points against a 115 projection.
That's what happens when you don't try to fill your team with Giants players.
That's true. But I mean, look at Baker Mayfield way outkicked his coverage.
Nobody expected that kind of performance from Baker Mayfield.
Tony Pollard, Tyreek.
Had a good game this week too. Tyreek had a great game. Well,
Isaiah Likely,
nobody.
And I'm sitting on Mark Andrews, what the mother, excuse my, and what happened? He wasn't getting the targets. And that killed me. I mean, that was my game right there because everybody else either performed well or performed at spec, and he way underperformed. I think, and I was all ready to drop Mark Andrews. I'm done.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
We'll give it another week and see what happens. I mean, because my backup is. All right, well, audio should be back. Let's figure out why Eric just went down. That's weird. Super weird. Oh, well, because the camera's off.
Oh, well, there we go.
All the power went off. So there we go. Okay, so now everything's back up. We apologize for those technical difficulties here. I'll get it right next week.
We have the standby screen on right now.
No, you're seeing that's the actual live stream over there.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, no, you're good. Wow, that lower third takes up way too much of the screen. I'm going to have to clean that up for next week.
I
But
like that, though. That looks great.
yeah, I just threw
Yeah.
it together
Oh, there
this
we go.
morning. All right, there.
Yay!
Yeah. All right, so we're
All
back.
right, cool.
So anyway, yeah, like it's yeah, a lot of panic there because what's going to happen. But I think as we move through the season, ups and downs. I mean, it is week 1. Mark Andrews still a number 1 tight end, but he's getting old too.
He is. He was banged up, and he is going to get banged up once this season.
Yeah, he
It's
is.
guaranteed.
He is. So, but Isaiah Likely just that threw Rob over the edge. I mean, did Rob even bother to set a lineup, or was he just kind of like, hey,
I
I'm
think
going
he
to roll
just
with what I got?
phoned it in. I mean, he has Ramondre Stevenson on the bench, and he still performed that well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But nobody expected that from Ramondre Stevenson.
No,
either
nobody
from-
did. Nobody expected
Can
that.
we talk about that game for a minute? I mean, I'm wearing my Patriots shirt. I'm so happy they won last week, but nobody expected that.
No, nobody expected them to win, and I don't want to. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want to completely give Daniel Jones the absolute nonsense, but it should be noted, I guess, that he was thrown into the fire, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And
crazy.
for this particular game, this particular season, and Gerard Mayo, like we still got to see what he's going to do as a head coach, but he was at least smart enough to know, look, Drake May's not ready.
No.
Jacoby Brissett has been a solid backup. I think he started a few times.
Yeah, he did.
Wasn't he?
When Tom Brady was out those 4 games
Yeah.
that season, he played
So he played.
one game, I think.
He's been a starter for a couple times. He knows what's going on. He knows the system. That's what you've got to do. And Drake May needs to learn, come along, and see where he's at. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
Where did they take him? 3?
What, Gerard Mayo?
No, Drake May,
Drake May, they took him number 3.
number 3 overall. So
Which I was surprised about, too, because there's so many other quarterbacks on the board.
there were a lot of other quarterbacks on the board.
You could have had J.J. McCarthy.
But yeah, it's a good surprising game. But I mean, I haven't looked. Who do we play this week? The Seahawks.
The Seahawks, yeah.
And we're not a favorite in that game.
But Ken Walker III is out. So we have Zach Charbonnet up for that.
Yep.
We'll see what kind of game Geno has. I mean, is it at Seattle or at New England? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Because that can make all the difference. If it's at home, we might have a chance now that Ken Walker's
Yeah,
out.
let's check the look here. NFL.com.
I mean, and then there's
Probably
always
should have had
the
this up
legend that
before.
Joe Burrow always starts off slow. But, in a game you're expected to win, and then you're going into week 2 playing the Chiefs, where they're the only team in the AFC that can best the Chiefs overall.
So that we're at home today against
We're
the
at home.
Seahawks. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's the 1:00 game on Fox.
Wow.
The spread is only 3. I mean, it's not crazy. But look, we've got a good defense, we've got an okay offense, but
I mean, Christian Watson is supposed, or not Christian Gonzalez is supposed to
yeah.
be shadowing DK Metcalf this game.
We haven't played the Seahawks in 4 years.
No, we haven't.
And they beat Tom Brady last time.
they
Or
sure
or
did.
was he out in 2020? Was that when he was out?
No, he was in Tampa Bay 2020.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was those are the Daniel Jones years. So
The Mac
or
Jones.
Mac Jones years. So Daniel Jones.
It
Well,
could've
he's
been
in the
Zach.
news for being a absolute turd as well. So
Should've went with Zappy, but that's-
what are you gonna do?
what are you
So
gonna do?
and then I didn't see this. Chris Ozog beat up on Sheamus.
Big lead.
Yeah,
big
big time. But he
Big
was. I
time.
mean, it was kind of a rout beforehand. Like,
It was.
what do we
You
got?
know what?
Geno Smith. I mean,
I'm not discounting
Who's-
Sheamus out.
who's it?
Sheamus has a decent team.
again, it's week 1. It's week 1,
It is
right?
week 1.
I mean, it's week 1. As we move into week 2 and we look at the matchup, I'm actually playing Chris today.
Which one? Ozog.
Ozog,
Yes.
yeah, I'm playing Chris Ozog.
Yep. Joe's taking on Nick
Joe's beating up on Nick right now.
right now, but even though Nick is still projected to win,
Nick is not projected to win at
Yeah,
all.
117 to 115 right now.
No, 130 to 113. Refresh your screen there,
Let me
Big
refresh,
Shoots.
man. That's okay. My bad.
Chris Olsen's got a good one against who's inside trading?
That's Larry.
Larry.
Brother Larry. Yeah.
It's a tight that's going to be a tight game.
He made some moves this week too.
Yeah.
So that should be. He should have a better outing.
Rithia's got a good matchup
against Andrew. Yep, he made some moves too.
Justin. Yeah, he's going to beat Bobby.
Well, Bobby has Christian
McCaffrey
still on his lineup. Bobby, if you're listening right now, put McCaffrey on your IR, please.
Yeah, you got to move McCaffrey.
That's 0 points, and Addison too. Addison's out as well.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
You got
get
two.
Those get 2 players in to replace them. You should be all set. Although Buffalo had a massive game on Thursday night. They had 2 pick sixes, 3 fourth down stops. I mean, they had the defense just had an absolute massive
Yeah, no,
game.
it's an absolute stomping. So,
Yep, you're playing Chris, and that's going to be a good game. You should.
I should win that. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he'll put up his. They're playing Atlanta, so he's going to put that up. I'm still not 100% sold on Pacheco. I played around with this a little bit. Jamar Chase needs to step it up.
Yep.
And same with Mark Andrews. I mean, those are the two. They're playing Vegas today though, so that should be
Jamar.
Shouldn't be too bad.
Mark Andrews, yeah. He should have a better week this week. Absolutely. Again, he like you said, he's getting old. They might want to start off slow with him, like they get a lot of the quarterbacks. It seemed like they had a slow start.
Yeah. Well, they always do. I mean, because I've got who have I got? I got Trevor Lawrence sitting on my bench, and
Maybe I'm just spoiled by end of season football, where everybody's trying to get 300, 400 yards, and just
everybody's trying to get their bonus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's trying to get the bonus. So there's a couple of big storylines coming into week 2, though.
Yep.
I think the number one for most fantasy managers is Christian McCaffrey being out.
Yeah, and they're not rushing him back at all. Like, Mason has proven he can reliably back up.
Yeah. I snapped him up on the waiver wire because I was
Good
like,
job.
give him a couple weeks.
And even if you get 4 weeks of good utilization out of him, that can make all the difference come playoffs.
It can make all the difference because it's all about point differential, right? So that's you want to rack up as many points as you can even in a loss.
Yeah.
So point differential comes into play, but Christian McCaffrey out. That's really going to affect fantasy managers. I mean, for us, it's affecting Bobby.
Definitely.
And
Puka Nakua's been put on the IR this week.
Yeah.
So he's not coming back until week 6 at the earliest. So it's we're already we're
definitely
and we're in a 14-team league, so the pickings are slim right
That's very true. That's very true.
So guys, you're in this situation, jump on that waiver wire. Just haunt the waiver wire. Make trades. Nobody trades in our league, man.
Well, why trade?
Well,
why trade?
Well, say you're in a Jordan Love situation. We don't know when he's coming back yet. Or Tua, for that matter.
Oh, I think Tua is done.
Well,
I think Tua is done. I mean, so did you see the hit?
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, I'll bring it up right now. You won't see it, but, I'll bring it up right now. And I got it here.
I can't,
So I'm looking at this. I didn't see the game, right?
I was watching the game.
So here he comes,
And
right up, boom.
Slide.
Why are you leading with your shoulder?
Don't know.
And this is, it's not as bad as that hit from a few years ago where you had the tweet, but you see his arm starting to do the thing.
But he already had the yardage. He had the first down.
You had the first down. I mean, here comes Mike McDaniel on the field, who looks like a Coke dealer now. And is he wearing capri pants?
I think he might be.
Oh, okay. Hey, to each his own. It's 2024.
He's in Miami.
It's warm in Miami.
Exactly.
But this is tough. This is another situation. But he angled his neck, and that's it. I mean,
that was it.
You can't fault DeMar Hamlin on that hit.
No.
It was a clean hit.
He did.
He
wasn't very aggressive.
He didn't do anything. He was just kind of there. But that's I mean, and that's the shakes in this league. But I think when you have your quarterback who's already concussion prone, he's been injured multiple times, you have to be hammering into him. You can't do that. You cannot do. So where's the quarterback's coach? Where is that sort of thing? Because he's done. He's done.
Well, according to himself today, he said he's not thinking about retirement. That can change.
He may be forced to, though.
He may be forced
because
to,
at some point now it becomes a liability.
Yep.
The Dolphins and the league are going to look at that and go, we've already got enough bad press about CTE. We've got enough bad press about concussions. What are we doing to protect these folks? I know, like over in Simsbury here, where Logan plays football, and he's playing flags, so they don't wear any gear other than a mouthpiece. But they bought those Guardian caps for the whole league, for them to wear in practice. They can wear them in games if they want, but it's wearing them in practice. And I agree with that. You take more shots in practice than you do in a game, so definitely that's where you definitely need to be wearing those. But certainly, if parents are concerned about head injuries and that sort of thing. Now, let's be clear though. A Guardian cap doesn't protect your neck.
No.
It doesn't protect that portion of it. You're still susceptible to that. But in guarding against concussions, it's going to be there. But Tua's had so many concussions, right? He's just proven to be, for lack of a better term, a fragile player.
Yeah.
How do you justify that? He's not. And somebody, I forget who was saying that, the other day on one of the sports programs I was watching.
It was Barry.
He was,
Barry podcast.
He was like, look, he is fragile. He's not. And at some point, you got paid, man.
Yep.
Be smart with your money, invest it, and move on.
And your family. Think about your family, I mean, there's no reason that you have to kill yourself.
But I mean, if he's on my roster, he's gone. He's a drop for me. There's no way because concussion protocol states he's got to be out 2 weeks minimum, right? This is what his fourth concussion.
And he went home. He's not even in Florida. He went home. He went home. He's with his family right now.
Yeah. So this is his fourth concussion?
Third in
the NFL.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out for 4 weeks minimum, I would think.
I'd be surprised if he's back before week 6.
The doctor's going to be very conservative with his care. I think the team is going to take a look at it because now not only are you're a liability in a couple of ways. You're just a liability to get hurt, right?
Right.
But then you're a bigger liability to the brand, to the league, to everything else. The league's definitely going to be involved. The league is going to have a say in this at this point.
It's an awful situation, and the coach absolutely cares about Tua.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been rooting for Tua to do well ever since he came out of college, but some things you just can't do in life.
No, you can't.
He tried his best. I could never do what he did. I mean, it's just
no, absolutely not. But to your point, you have to be intelligent.
Yes.
About what you're doing as you step on the field and as you're out there, and it's
you can't let ego play into this.
No, you can't. And in what again? I just kind of think what were you thinking? Leading with the shoulder like that.
I'm
you just need to slide.
You should have heard my wife. I was like, slide, and I'm like, no. And as soon as he took that hit, I'm like, that's not good.
Right. It's crazy how much damage can be done in a short period of time.
And
so
Skylar Thompson comes in after that, and he does nothing. He dumps off to HN, which is great because HN's on my fantasy league or my fantasy team.
Right.
And he racked up almost 30 points for me, but still, I mean.
So that's so a lot of good matchups in the league this week.
Yep. Well, before you go on to that, just for the owner of Tua or whoever's listening, if they own Tua, who do you think he can be replaced with? I mean, in our league itself, we have Malik Willis, we have Daniel Jones, we have Bo Nix, Derek Carr, Gardner Minshew.
I mean, as far as quarterback free agents, I probably pick up Jacoby Brissett.
I would probably pick up Derek Carr.
I mean, Derek Carr maybe. I think Jacoby Brissett is not that Derek Carr is not a known commodity.
Yeah.
But I think Jacoby Brissett is in a little bit more of a stable situation.
Absolutely. And the O-line is much better than New Orleans.
So I think you do that. I mean, there. If you look, Derek Carr projected 17, Jacoby Brissett projected 16.
So similar.
Dallas has a tougher pass defense.
Yep.
So I think, Brissett has a little bit of an advantage this week, but you know, overall, I mean, it's tough. You've got, I mean, and do not pick up Daniel Jones. I don't care what you do. Not anybody listening.
Or
I don't
Malik Willis.
in our league.
No.
In any other league,
No.
do not pick up Malik Willis. Do not pick up Daniel Jones. They are absolute trash pandas right now.
No, probably
And
good
not
people,
in the
but-
cute raccoon way.
No.
So
But let me argue for Derek Carr, though. He's got Olave to throw to, Alvin Kamara. He's got Rashid Shaheed. I mean,
but he's
like,
got to
has-
have time to get rid of the ball.
But he still has weapons that Jacoby Brissett does not.
Weapons are only effective if you can get rid of the ball,
True.
right?
But you can't have Ramondre Stevenson run the whole time.
No, you can't. You can't. I mean, they've got to throw the ball.
I mean, honestly, we should just split the difference and just pick up Gardner Minshew. I mean, he's not
Right in the
doesn't have
middle.
the flash, but he's right in the middle. He's going to give you stable production.
He is right in the middle. You know, wow, look at that flow, dude.
Right?
You know, did okay last week, 16 fantasy
okay,
points,
yeah.
you know, one TD, one pick. You know, a couple yards rushing, he's not too bad. I mean, what did Derek Carr do? What are we looking at? I mean, you know, he was good last week. 27 fantasy points.
Well, they were playing Carolina.
You know, 3 touchdowns. Well, exactly. I mean, you know, you're playing them, and you know, but Jacoby Brissett was no slouch. You know, I mean, he didn't get as many attempts. You know, they ran the ball a lot.
Yep.
So you know, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Which, you know, on 24 attempts, 15 completions, they were conservative. Does that translate week over week? It's hard. You don't have. There's no data to back. You know, had he been a starter for the last year, you know, then you've got some historical data to go back to and say, okay, well, in this situation, they were more apt to run when he was more apt to throw. We don't know that yet. Once we get into like week 6, you know, it's a much more predictable, I think, setup. And who knows? You know, by that time, they could be saying, all right, Drake May's ready. Maybe he's going to start splitting snaps with Drake May. I could see that happening mid-year.
Mid-year, but not.
I mean, unless it's, you know, unless the Patriots come out and all of a sudden they're competitive. At which point I could see, you know, I think if Jacoby Brissett really like pulls like a Brock Purdy, right, kind of coming out of nowhere, being a great player, you know, a little more nimble quarterback, you know, and he's putting up points and he's leading that offense, which he's not doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, as a coach, then do you say, okay, you know, let's go with him and let Drake, you know, percolate on the sideline. I mean, the thing is, he's a rookie, right? He's in his rookie contract. He's going to be around for a minute.
Some Brock Purdy, though.
You know, well, but Brock Purdy's going to get paid. I mean, I watched part of that Monday night game. He looked good. He looked good. He's a solid quarterback.
He's got that baby face, though.
You know,
Like,
he does.
He looks like he's in high school.
So I think as far as a lot of these things go, it's too early to tell.
No,
you know,
exactly.
it's way too early to tell.
But again, you know, Thursday night game was hard to watch. Not even before the whole Tua hit too. I mean, it was just.
Well, you know, when the NFL is playing these guys more, you know, they've got more games now, less preseason, more games. You know, they're shuffling these folks all over the world now to play these games, which I think is asinine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a money grab.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a money grab. You know, you're who's going over to Berlin? The Panthers and the Giants.
Yeah,
I mean, so I mean that's an absolute. If you don't want it to go back to Europe ever again, definitely send those two teams because people are never going to want to watch American football again.
But then, like, with all the you know, the fumbles and all the interceptions, you're like, what the hell is this? What the hell is
well,
this
that
game
was
about?
you know, but that was Brazil. That was was that Brazil? Yeah, they were in Brazil. You know, that was Brazil. That's a different climate. You know,
the field was different.
Yes, the field was different, but I would say you're in Brazil, tropical.
Yep.
A lot more rain, a lot more. It's a lot spongier, a lot softer. There's a reason that in the areas where we have a lot of weather, that they build domes, right? Seattle's got a dome.
They'll never put a dome in Brazil, though.
You're not gonna do it, you know. But I do think, you know, I agree. Soccer fields are different than football fields, and that's or American football fields are different from football fields or however you want to say
Yes,
it. But
they put even when it's not turf, they put a different kind of grass on it.
they do put different kinds of grass on it, and I know for years now they've been pushing to get rid of turf completely in the NFL, and I agree with that.
Yes, me too.
So I've played. I never played football on turf. When I was in high school and I played a couple of years of high school football, all the fields were grass.
Yep.
But in lacrosse, we played a lot of games on turf.
Okay, so how is
And
that?
it's not great. It hurts to fall on turf. It doesn't hurt as bad to fall on grass. There's some give and some cushion, and newer turf I think is a little better. I couldn't stand it. The shoes, now they have specific turf shoes. When I
Really?
played, there wasn't specific turf shoes, so if you wore your spikes, it could be
That could be back
iffy.
Yeah.
I used to wear basketball shoes if we played on turf. I mean, I was a goalie, so for me,
Oh,
like the
wow.
bounces are a lot truer, which
Yep.
is nice on turf. There's less
Yeah,
left,
no
right.
potholes or
There's
anything like
no
that.
potholes where
Yeah.
a ball's going to go weird, but the ball also took a bigger bounce depending on where it bounced and where it shot, and you can see that on some of these fields, and not all turf is built equally. Now, unfortunately, around here, especially in Connecticut, if you go around, all of these high schools now have turf fields.
Yep.
Right, all of them have turf fields. Some of them are newer, which is okay. Some of them are older, and you can usually tell the older ones. You get those black stuff all up in your shoes.
When I was in high school, we had a turf for our football field.
Yeah, where did you go to high school?
East Hartford High,
East Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was over here in Avon, and we had the grass fields.
which is nice.
Well, yeah, it was very nice. And it did what it needed to do. But I
I
would
like
say,
that skate, the field over there. It's really nice.
well, they redid that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's turf now.
Oh, it's turf now?
yeah,
Oh,
that's
gotcha,
turf now.
gotcha,
Yeah, that's
gotcha.
turf. That's not the field I played on. No, when I was in high school, actually, it's funny too. Like where they have that little, I think it's a field hockey field
Yep,
this time of year
on the left, yeah.
next to the fire department. So that was an open field.
Okay.
And for homecoming week, we used to have a massive bonfire there. the fire department would light a massive,
Oh, that's cool.
just
They did it.
absolutely
That's awesome.
massive bonfire, which was really cool. I don't even think they do stuff like that anymore.
Well, probably not.
But
Oh, the kids got short out on everything. Things like that. Saturday morning cartoons.
yeah, well, I mean, let's not die. Yeah, well, that's a tangent
you're
we
right,
can get
you're
into.
right. Let's,
Conversation for another time, probably. But
absolutely.
pushing it back around to football. We're about done with this week, but a lot of good games today. Guys, you got 33 minutes to set your lineups.
Yep.
Essentially, so get those lineups in.
And again, see where you have questionable players on your lineups.
Again, Bobby, you got to clean up this lineup,
Yep.
bud.
Come
You
on,
got to
Bob.
clean up this lineup. You got one on IR. You got one straight up out. So
Rob, you have Puka Nakua on IR, man. You got to take him out.
it's guys,
We have a lot
it's
of
more fun when you participate regularly. And I know
Absolutely.
it's a little bit more of a challenge, and it takes up a little bit more time,
Yep.
Every week. But yeah, jump on that, get it going.
And it literally takes a couple minutes.
It does. It does.
There are a lot of good resources out there, especially on Sunday morning. Bleacher puts out a report about who's out. They put weather conditions out. It's not hard. It'll take a quick couple of Google searches, and you can be good to go on and be confident about who you want to play. And again, it's football, so nothing is set in stone.
That's true.
We have a lot of good games today. Like New Orleans Dallas is going to be fun to watch, I think. Just because Dallas is totally beat up on the Browns last week, which again nobody saw that kind of a beating coming. So it's going to be fun to watch them.
It's the Cowboys.
It is the
They're gonna.
They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to win one game, and that's going to be it.
You think they're gonna you're gonna win one game? I don't know.
What do you think? They're going to win more? Or they're not going to make it.
I think they'll make the playoffs. You
Oh,
gotta
oh,
give
no,
you
no.
gotta give the folks in Texas something to be
Absolutely.
excited about.
Well, Houston is pretty excited. to
Yeah,
watch,
Houston's
too.
pretty good. Houston's pretty good.
But
Um,
no, they're going to make it to the playoffs for sure. But
Tampa Bay, Detroit. Think Detroit can go on another run?
I hope so. They're my NFC team right now. Like I usually pick an AFC and an NFC team. AFC's always going to be Patriots in my heart, but I can't root for you this year.
DraftKings has the Lions beating the Bucks today.
Oh,
78%.
They're playing in Tampa, right? No, they're playing in.
They're in Detroit.
That's right.
They're in Detroit.
Every game, but 3 games that Detroit's playing in a dome. So I think their chances are very good this year about making a run. And Jared Goff plays better in the dome than he does.
He does. Oh God, this is going to be
up?
terrible. Giants and Washington. Oh,
It's gonna be fun. I'm playing Jaden Daniels for my quarterback this week, so I'm hoping it's gonna be.
So at the Commanders.
So they're in DC. Okay, so that'll be a fun trash game to watch.
This is my mom versus my grandmother. Because my mom was a huge Redskins fan, and my grandmother was a huge Giants fan. So, and my mom would be like, "Oh, I like the Giants." I'm like, "How can you like both? They're in the same division." Like,
but I mean, football is football. And
no, football is football. Football is football.
And there's nothing like it. Rugby. I know you come close, but still.
Yeah, welcome to sports I don't understand at all.
Right.
Yeah, so looking good here.
Cleveland, Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville takes that one. Deshaun Watson's a train wreck right now.
Yeah.
He's got those new allegations too, so they gotta figure that out.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out.
Green Bay's without Jordan Love, so all the receivers are going to be downgraded with Malik
somebody
Willis.
still had Jordan Love in. Who still had Jordan Love in?
Who's not really? Whoever has Jordan Love in, take him out. I think is it Trevor?
I saw somebody. Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
All right. I'll keep talking about football then.
Maybe.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Of course, somebody could
have. Anthony Richardson's he's heating up right now, and they just have too good of a team.
Oh yeah, 100%. Too good a team, and again, it's early, right? I mean, football doesn't get to be decent till it's like continuously cold out.
Yeah.
At that point, it gets good. So like October, is when things shake down. And again, I personally think because they've shortened the preseason, and the guys aren't getting as many touches as they did in the past. Coaches are still spending the first couple of weeks of the regular season just feeling it out. I don't think they've completely set their their mind on who's doing what, and you especially see that at running back, receiver.
Oh yeah. The snow games are always fun to watch too.
Snow games are always it'll be interesting to see what happens around then, and.
Well, now Miami doesn't have to worry about Tua playing in the snow because Tua, you're not going to be playing in the snow this year.
I think if he does come back and play this year, it's a red flag. It's a disservice to him. It's a disservice to the league. It's not sending the right message.
No, it's
right.
Not.
I mean, if player safety is up there, and look at all the changes they've made: the kickoff, the kick returns, where you can hit people, where you can't hit people. All these things that are supposed to be, and again, the game is different. I don't know that the game is necessarily safer
or better,
but it is different. But there's definitely a lot of rules in there that are designed to protect the quarterback, which is fine. I mean, for those of us that grew up watching Lawrence Taylor, like absolutely smoke defenses and just sack after sack after sack. I mean, it was. I won't say it was hard to watch because it was great to watch.
It was fun to watch, but you feel for the
I
quarterback.
mean, I think for next week I'll pull up some clips. They had some. There was some. It's not TikTok because I'm not on TikTok, but some.
Me either. YouTube or.
It was YouTube or Insta. It probably is TikTok, like
via YouTube.
Via Instagram.
Yeah, I don't.
But like what football was like in, say, the late 90s when you saw these just absolute monster hits. Like everybody remembers, like, Jerry Maguire, right?
Yeah.
And, who was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character? I can't remember his name.
Either.
But he used to say, look, I go over the middle. I go over the middle. And, like, back that was a thing. Like, when you ran that little in route over the middle for that short, like, 3-4 yard pass, like, some middle linebacker was going to clean your clock. Because they played to dislodge the ball.
Absolutely.
I haven't dove into the stats, and I'm not a big stats guy, but I just know from watching, it seems like I see a lot more interceptions because they throw the ball more these days. But like the fumbles,
They try
like,
punching.
you
You can see them uppercut, but they don't try to actually like.
But I mean,
when they're tackling.
the way that we were taught to tackle, right, was to put your head into the ball. Back when I was being taught how to play,
You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore. It's like put your head into the ball. Don't put your head into the body. But when you when you go in for the tackle, you want to put your head to the side that the ball is on, so that you can possibly, bust that free. You want to see a good representation of what it was like to play football in the 90s, the early 90s. Watch the movie The Program with James Conner.
Yes.
If you've never seen that movie, great movie. I think Omar Epps plays a freshman running back, and I will always remember how he had a problem fumbling the ball, so they made him carry the football around campus
everywhere,
and everybody was supposed to try to snap it out of
Yeah.
his hands, and it happened he wasn't paying attention in some class, and it, of course, all the football players, and the whole class turns into chaos as every player is trying to jump on this fumble because whoever returned the ball, the coach, is going to be a thing. So, things like that. Football is definitely different than when we were kids and we were being taught to play. And again, I'm not.
It's still entertaining.
It's still entertaining. I agree with player safety. We have the same thing in lacrosse.
Yeah.
That things have changed. At the youth level, at least, there's a lot less contact. They don't stress contact. Of course, the challenge is what we consider no contact is there. So another town considers no contact, and then
there's a shift to college if they play in college because they don't shy away from contact in college.
No, they don't shy away from contact in college.
So how do you make that adjustment from?
It depends on where you play.
Yeah.
Like we play, teams from like Southington, Glastonbury, some of these bigger towns with bigger football programs. Those kids can hit.
Yeah.
And you see it in the way that they play a ground ball or something like that. They tend to get lower, drop a shoulder, and then some of the other kids from some of the other towns where I've coached, because they don't play football, they're not used to that contact. It's different. You make the argument for like hockey. You'd be like, well, if you play hockey, but hockey's a different kind of contact.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of open ice contact. That contact happens along the boards.
And the pads. The pads are.
I guess.
Well, you put the pads on, or not even pads, like the pants on that are built to shield you from some of the.
Well, they're built to take the sting out of a puck.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, the puck will always find the space between the pads.
Like a paintball.
Every time. Every time. There's never been a time when I've been hit that I haven't been just absolutely stung at least once a game.
I never played on a team, but we played schoolyard puck, and that was fun.
But all right. Well, I think that's probably it for today.
Yeah, I think so. We had a great podcast. Always great seeing you, Tim.
Always great to see you too, brother. So, brothers, remember, set your lineups, get ready to go, and Eric, you going to be down here today? No, I think you got some softball, right?
I got softball, but if anybody wants to come down within the next 20 minutes, I can set up the NFL ticket however you want it. I'll show you how to do the multi-view, and we'll get you going. But I should be, and I won't be here next week, but end of the month I'll be here. So the weekend of the 28th, 29th, next weekend going to Boston with the missions.
Oh, okay. So we're not going to be on next week.
Oh no, we're not going to be on next.
Looks like we're not.
I can call in. I can call in for an hour.
But now I got to set that up. All
No,
right, I'll figure it out.
Well,
I got to figure it out.
We'll talk.
All right. Well, brothers,
Communication is key, brother. Sorry.
it's been real.
Have a good one.
Have a great weekend.
And don't forget, you're listening to the Village Idiots podcast, Connecticut's best Masonic fantasy football podcast, because we are the only Masonic NFL or fantasy football podcast. Be good to each other. Peace out. See you in a week.